This is an alley near the cemetery of the temporarily occupied Luhansk. There was a lawn here last year. Now fresh graves are arranged in 2 rows. There are more than 100 of them in total, and in each one, a person who was killed in the war against Ukraine is buried.
It is very painful to see our guys off to their last journey. There are 58 of them today, but we know that the price is much higher.
One of the latest examples is the unsuccessful offensive of the soldiers of the 155th Marine Brigade of the Russian Pacific Fleet near Vuhledar, Donetsk region. The surviving servicemen sent a letter describing the real situation to the governor of Primorsky Krai. As a result of the carefully planned offensive by the great commanders, we have about 300 people killed, wounded and missing in 4 days. 50% of all equipment. This is just our brigade. The command of the district, together with Akhmedov, hide this and underestimate the official figures of losses, fearing responsibility. Soldiers of the 155th Marine Brigade of the Russian Pacific Fleet from a message on Telegram. The Ministry of Defense of Russia traditionally denies the high losses of personnel and equipment, which the fighters from the 155th Marine Brigade spoke about. It was reported by the Russian officials that the losses of the Marines do not exceed 1% of the combat strengths and 7% of the wounded, a significant part of whom have already returned to duty. Yes, there are losses, heavy battles are taking place, but they are far from what they write in this appeal. We submitted materials to the military prosecutor's office and now we are directly contacting the command, so that a certain analysis is carried out on each of these cases. The real military casualties in Russia are carefully concealed. A month after the start of the war, in April, the Ministry of Defense of Russia announced 1,351 killed in action. The next official data appeared on the day the mobilization began. Then, Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu estimated combat losses at 5,937 Russian soldiers killed in action. At the same time, according to data from open sources, which were collected by journalists from Mediazona Russian online edition, the BBC Russian service, and volunteers, as of November 4th of this year, the losses of Russian troops amount to at least 8,294 people, of which 115 got into the army as a result of mobilization.
This number does not reflect the real level of losses. We only see public reports of deaths. These include posts by relatives, news in regional media, and reports from local authorities. In addition, the number of missing and captured is unknown. From an article of the Mediazona online media.
The online edition Important Stories, citing its sources in the Russian Special Services, reported that as of October 12th, the irreversible losses of the Russian army in Ukraine amounted to more than 90,000. This number includes the dead, missing and severely wounded, but in Russia they try not to speak about it. Officials at all levels are trying to hide their miscalculations, and the number of killed in action is one of the indicators of how the notorious special military operation is being conducted. It is clear that more truthful data on losses will lead to the balance that now has developed in public opinion somewhere at the level of 50-50 will shift towards anti-war sentiment, and the authorities are also very afraid of this. Boris Kakarlitsky, Russian sociologist, in an interview with the Russian service of Voice of America. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the losses of the Russian army have already exceeded 76,000 people. According to official Russian data, from October 1st, 1999 to December 23rd, 2002, the total losses of Russian forces in the Chechen War amounted to 4,500 soldiers. According to other estimate, 14,000 Russian troops were killed in that war. Reported by Pavel Stelmach, Natalia Husak, UATV News.